Hello there. If you're selling products online, you really need someone on your team whose entire job is running Facebook ads. So not a general marketing person who happens to do your Facebook ads, not some little side project that you give to someone who does organic social or something else. Someone on your team exclusively dedicated to this. Otherwise, you could be leaving $10,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. Here is precisely why. So more than half of online sales are through Google, which includes YouTube, as well as Facebook, which includes Instagram. So it's really important to get really good at both these traffic channels. Facebook specifically is 21%, and you think about competing against someone who is really dominating at Facebook. So if this is the number of sales without Facebook ads, and they're really dominating, doing an extra 20% or more through Facebook ads. If this happens month after month, they are going to outcompete you in the market. Another thing you have to think about is for a lot of companies, they have a lot of fixed costs, spaces, wages, things like that. So they may need to make this many sales just to break even. And up here is profit. So adding a really good traffic channel, adding consistent Facebook sales at the right amount can like double profit or even more. Every ad that you launch that doesn't work well, you lose money. Every ad you launch that does work well, you make money. And you can never know precisely what's going to work in advance. However, working with someone who's launched hundreds, even thousands of ads over many, many years will have a much better idea of things that are really likely to perform well. And I want to give an example. Let's say in this case, here's someone who's more experienced who launches 10 ads and 3 of them work really well, 7 don't. Or someone a little more inexperienced or not as familiar with what's working really well, they launch 10 ads and 1 work. It's actually not that uncommon to have 0 work out of 10. So for the example, I'm saying if you launch an ad that does really well, on average that ad's gonna make you $1,000. This is actually pretty low. I've done ads that have made over $30,000 off the 1 ad. We'll say $1,000 you make from an ad that does well, and you lose $150 from an ad that you do and it just doesn't perform, it's not working well, and eventually you have to cut your losses and turn the ad off. It's usually a little bit more than that you're actually losing because you think of team members' time, setting up the ads, actually spending the money to test it, and then cutting your losses and turning it off. But you can see if you have 1 that works and 9 that don't, you definitely are going to end up in the hole. But if you have 3 that work and 7 that don't, you're almost definitely going to make money with this. And doing it over time, over and over, that spread between making and losing money gets bigger and bigger. And that is why it's so crucial to have the highest percentage possible that perform really, really well. It can cost you so much time, energy, and resources creating an ad that gets disapproved, or even worse, creating an ad that gets your account banned. And it can be really challenging, a lot of work to get it unbanned. Some people never get their account unbanned. So that's why it's so important to really know what's allowed on Facebook, what they're going to flag, and actually know those rules. But the problem is those rules are constantly changing. It's a really long document. I read through it over 100 times because I go through it weekly and actually see if anything has changed or been updated. And there's a lot that Facebook really doesn't like. They use artificial intelligence to go through the entire Facebook post, actually go through the landing page, the page that you send people to, looking for certain key phrases they hate before and after pictures. There's entire industries that aren't allowed. And there's even things that you really need to include, like often privacy policy, terms of service, refund policy, a link back to the home page. So you really want someone on your team that understands these in depth, isn't going to waste all your time, energy, and resources creating an ad that gets you disapproved or even banned. Using the right tools can save so much time and money for your business. And if you're just passing off Facebook ads to someone, they're likely not familiar with the advanced tools and processes that work incredibly well. Like with my ad accounts, I'm often making 30, 40, 50 small adjustments throughout the day, but I'm using an amazing tool to turn down spending or pause things that aren't working well and increase incrementally spending for things that are performing really, really well. This really helps with profit And without this tool, it would take forever. It would take hours and hours. You'd have to be an ads manager the entire day. Instead, it can do it automatically, and I spend like 30 minutes like checking the automations, dialing them in perfectly. You can also use tools to speed up the ad creation process, help with that. You can use them to help with reporting and analyzing all of the data. So knowing those tools is incredibly important, and someone who's really done it for many, many years will know the right tools and processes to help your business out. Part of what I love about Facebook ads is it's a great big puzzle with a lot of pieces fitting together. And a lot of people starting with Facebook ads just focus on audiences and ads, which are incredibly important. But you're sending people from an ad to a checkout page, and a lot of people don't do enough tweaking and testing of that page. You can test different things, see what works, what information you want to include, test video, no video, all the sorts of things. Testing those have led to a huge increase in number of sales. Also being really strategic with the retargeting ads. So once people hit that page, actually sending them very specific strategic ads can boost a lot more sales, get people back on that page to make the purchase. And often people will give like a discount if they give their email, and then you can send like a series of emails. So really tweaking that and getting that dialed in can lead to a huge boost in sales. If people punch in their info but don't check out, you can send them a abandoned cart emails, and really what's in those can really boost the number of additional sales you can make. And you can also have upsells or different things you're bundling together and try to really increase the average amount of money that people spend. Then your ads can be way more profitable. So working with someone who has experience boosting the performance of every single one of these can really help out your business and your ad account. And once you make a sale, it's so important driving a repeat sale, and you can use an email follow-up and retargeting ads to get future purchases at a much, much lower cost. Companies that do best don't just get the first sale, they get repeat sales and long-time customers. Facebook ads are highly competitive. The majority of people who run Facebook ads lose money, and what worked 3 months ago may not actually work today. The platform is constantly changing. They're introducing different types of ads. Things that used to work don't anymore. So that's why it's so valuable to have someone who's in there just about every single day spending a lot of money, and they can see precisely the way that things are changing with their different ads. It's also so important to test out new things, get really creative so you can always stay on the cutting edge. I also know a lot of other people who are ads managers, and I'm constantly talking with them, hearing about what they're doing, hearing what's working well for them. It's tough staying on the cutting edge, staying competitive, but if you can, it can have a huge impact on that bottom line. I have my own ad agency, and I actually take on all of the risk, which means my customers don't pay me 1 penny unless I generate profit for them. I am really exclusive with who I work with, but if you're interested in learning more about that, you can apply. I'll have a link down to that below. And if you don't get accepted, I will send you awesome free guides and resources. I also created a video on advanced Facebook ad strategies. I would say that's a must watch if you want to get better at Facebook ads. Please think about giving this video a like and subscribing if you want more Facebook ad strategies, but I will see you in that video right now.